Hello, my Smooners. Welcome back to Being Mrs. S. Now I'm going to sprinkle some BGM on you. Thank you for joining me this fine day. And if you are new to my channel, it is a pleasure to meet you. But before we get cozy, do me a favor and click on that beautiful subscribe button. Then leave a comment below in the comment section letting me know that you're a new subscriber, and I'll shout out to you in my next video. Also, please check out Smoon City, my merch store, and grab you one of these cool tees or anything that interests you. I thank you in advance for your support. Okay, here's a shout out to Blue True One. Thank you for subscribing and letting me know that you have subscribed. Cheers and welcome to Smoon Universe. Okay, so today we are going to talk about some interesting things I came across this Smoon season. Okay, as my Smooners, you guys should know whenever I say Smoon season, I am talking about my anniversary with my beautiful BDD. Can you believe we've been married 5 years already and still going strong, honey? We are not forever newlywed for nothing, okay? Okay, so we are very happy and we are thankful to God for his kind and manifold blessings. Whew. Oh, where is my water? Let me go get it. Okay, so I had to go get my water real quick. Cheers. Whew. Speaking of ditties, did you hear Cassie sued Puffy for rape and years of physical, emotional, and all manner of abuse? They were together for 11 years, y'all. She was only 19, and he was 38 when they met. I think they broke up in 2018, and by 2019, she was married to somebody called Alex Fine. You know, she was most definitely running away from Puff Daddy. Anyway, it appears they have settled out of court now. But for love, as he's calling himself now, he has a bold scarlet letter imprinted on his whole body for the whole world to see. And it's never going away. Apparently, there have been so many rumors about Puffy doing crazy things. So his sins have come home to roost. People, you know, it's like, I'm guessing he thought, because the way it started, she sued him or told him she was going to sue him, or there was talk about it. And then he put out a press release saying that she was trying to blackmail him. And she was like, okay, so you think I'm playing, right? And she actually sued him. And the mess that was in that lawsuit or whatever, it's a lot. It is a lot. And he was like, okay, so this girl isn't serious. And I guess it talked about it. You know, he said that she hit him up for like 8 figures or something like that. And then she was like, okay, watch. And then now they've settled. So they've settled. Obviously, she's got some numbers that make sense to her. And so she's not going to go ahead and proceed with the lawsuit. And he's thinking, I dodged a bullet. But honey, let me sprinkle some sense on your head. You have not dodged any bullet. Now it starts. Now everybody's going to be talking about you. Anyway, let's get into the topic of the day. So you guys know Keke Palmer, Barbershop, Achille and the Bee. Yes, that Keke. I believe she turned 30 this year. And I'll go into the relevance of her age in due course. Okay, just a few days ago, the news outlets posted that she's filing for a restraining order and full custody of her son. A few weeks ago, Leotis, with Darius Dalton Jackson alleging domestic abuse she has suffered at his hands for their entire relationship. I mean, all 2 years of it. Darius showed his ass a few months ago when he publicly criticized Keke about her outfit and the way she was grinding to usher at his Vegas residency. The interwebs went nuts and proceeded to cancel him, only for Keke to post photos of them together shortly after that. And she was saying all these I love you stuff. Again, we'll go into the relevance of this mention in a few because that mess is crazy. Another thing I want to talk about today is a docu-series I watched on Netflix called Escape from Twin Flames. And this one was a big whopper of a story. You know, Netflix is doing things with their docu-series because they highlight the craziness that is all around us. They highlight the many people who are out there just scamming others left and right, and most especially people who are willing to be scammed. So why am I discussing these stories together? Well, they are somewhat intertwined. Keke Palmer thought she was in love. She probably thought she had met her soulmate, because why did she stay with someone who constantly abused her even before she got pregnant? That's the story. The story is that he was even abusive towards her even before her pregnancy. These are the questions, right? I want to talk about a few things that may help. Again, remember, marriage ministry, but this was kind of a little bit all tea, some shade, but Mrs. S's marriage ministry. Know when to say no. Enough is enough. Normalize being okay with yourself, learning about yourself, knowing how to recognize someone who is wrong for you, and recognize someone who's right for you. And so this topic is not about fault, blaming, shaming, or judging. This is just about the reality of the situation. When someone says they're leaving, say bye-bye. Say call Tyrone. Normalize not wanting to be with anyone who doesn't want to be with you. So I'm going to get a little real for a second. I'm going to tell you a story, a little bit about my experiences. Once upon a time, I met this guy who I thought, hey, I may have met my future husband. Now, ladies, this was around the time when all my friends were getting married and having babies. I was still very single. I met this guy after I had been in very terribly abusive relationships that had caused irreparable damage to my life. I had been in these relationships when I was in my late teens, early 20s. Okay, so this is why I'm talking about age. I'm mentioning age. This is about the same age Cassie was when she got groomed by Puff Daddy, allegedly. Around the same age. So, as you can tell, these experiences occurred while I was still maturing. My adult brain was still being formed. I didn't know what was going on. By the time I met this guy I'm talking about, I'd say I was well adjusted and matured. Well into my mid to late 20s. Without going into the whole story, we had planned a date. After a day of errands, by the time we got ready to head out, we were both exhausted. I had things that needed to be carried, but here he was walking out without grabbing anything. When I called him out about it, he lost it. He was cussing at me. He was yelling at me. And I was like, wait, what? I looked him square in the eyes and I told him, boy, you've lost your mind talking to me like that. And asked him to get out of my apartment. Now, here's the reason I mentioned Keke's age, which is in contrast to Cassie's age and my age whenever I experienced those horrible things. When we are young, we are consumed by intense feelings of what we believe love is. What we think love looks like, feels like, and how it makes us feel. The fact is, these feelings are not love. What those intense feelings are, more than likely, are of lust, our hormones, peer pressure getting the better of us, more mature partners taking advantage, and the young, impressionable minds not knowing better. When we're younger and immature, we ignore major signs. We refuse to believe what we see and what we hear from people who are treating us badly. Why? Here are a few reasons. Because we look good together. Because he spoils us with gifts and money. Because the bed magics keeps him happy. Because we think he's about to propose. Because we think we're getting old. Because, and this is not just, him or she. It could go both ways. Because he or she isn't always that way. Oh, that's the excuse. That just happens every once in a while. It's not all the time. Because we're afraid to be alone. Whatever other excuse you want to add to it. We get into these relationships and stay in them and repeat those patterns. Now, with age and maturity, whether we have experienced any form of abuse or not, we need to handle certain situations differently. As hard as it possibly is, we just have to, because with age and maturity, we should know better. What you're doing at 19, 18, 20, 21, maybe even 25, by 28, 29, 30, you shouldn't be doing the same thing. It just makes no sense, okay? What you're doing 19, 20, 21, maybe even up to 25, by the time you get to the age of 30, by the time you get to the age of 27, 28, 29, 30, you shouldn't be doing those things anymore. You shouldn't be influenced by peer pressure. You shouldn't be influenced by what people say. You shouldn't be influenced by somebody who's treating you badly. That should never occur. And the first sign of something that just doesn't sit well with you, the first sign of, okay, this doesn't feel right, you need to cut it off. Doing this saves you a lot of grief. Doing this while you're dating, okay, before you even get to the stage or the phase of, will you marry me? Yes, I want to marry you, and you get married. It'll save you all that. It'll save you grief during your marriage. It'll save you any idea of divorce. So that guy talked to me crazy, and I could have excused it as we were both exhausted and gone off on the date with him. Instead, I said, excuse you, get the F out. So Keke started dating this guy. She looked at him, thought he was cute, then got pregnant. Even though she saw the red flags, she ignored them. Because you cannot tell me a guy who behaves like this, a guy who is not afraid to go online and chastise her, you cannot tell me that this is the first time, that she never saw the red flags. She did, but she ignored them. He allegedly abused her during her pregnancy, but she stayed with him. Why? I won't be surprised if he exhibited this behavior multiple times before the pregnancy. If she knew any of his exes or whatever. And I'm not saying that there are a lot of situations where you will have the opportunity to talk to somebody's ex. I'm not even sure if that makes sense, because chemistry is different. How somebody behaves with somebody else will be completely different from the way they interact with you. However, there's nothing wrong with finding out what are this person's past relationships like. If they've dated more than one person that you're aware of, and there's like the same story over and over again about how this person is abusive, why do you think it's going to be different with you? Okay, he publicly bashed her about her clothing, but she stayed with him. Even after the internet canceled him, she came back, wouldn't confirm that they had broken up, because everybody was going crazy saying they had broken up. Then she doubled down, hanging out with him at Beyonce's concert on her birthday. I recently heard some audio that Darius, the guy, recorded and released. And I'm not going to play due to some spurious remarks made by Keke's mom about Usher. Keke could be heard in the background on this audio. You can hear Keke's mom telling Darius off because of his post about Keke with Usher at the Vegas residency. She's almost trying to explain and justify Keke's outfit and why Darius should not be upset. I didn't understand why she needed to make excuses for Keke to her alleged abuser. Why? It made zero sense. It sounded like she was pleading her case, like when she should have been telling him, boy, just go. You know, you're not in a position to talk about what my daughter is wearing. Just go away. Keke is a mature woman with a huge following of about 13.7 million on Insta alone. She appears to be very outspoken and assertive. So, it's, again, because, you know, people are going to be like, it sounds as if you're blaming her. I'm not blaming her. I am, however, saying that at a certain age, you need to, you're solely responsible for yourself. And you need to recognize certain behaviors in order to save you from deeper hell. Like, I can't think of a better way to put it. Like, now she shares a son with this man. She has filed for full custody of the child, and she has sent photos saying that he abused her, he did all these things. There's pictures, and obviously there's video that's going to come along with it whenever they go through the whole court proceedings. But, you know, all of that could possibly have been avoided if the first sign of his crazy behavior, she said, bye, bye, bye. Okay? And if you guys have been listening to my podcast, watching this channel, you know I'm all about personal responsibility. You are only responsible for yourself. And even more so when you are past a certain age and have reached a certain level of maturity, it becomes an excuse if you continue to follow the same pattern. Anyway, it's a good thing that she has now come to the realization that the relationship is not working. I mean, they were together for 2 years. I mean, that was like one fast and furious relationship, 2 years. But hopefully it's over and she doesn't have to deal with that anymore. So, we're going to get into the other topic and the reason why I linked these two stories together. This is about the Twin Flames documentary that was on Netflix. It's about how the most basic couple in the history of basic, Jeff and Shalia Ayan, or Divine as they are calling themselves today, claim to be in a twin flame union. They're each other's twin flames and have now turned it into a business concept, which people are alleging is a cult. They were telling people that they can look at someone and tell them, oh, this person is your twin flame. They've conned a bunch of people, mostly women, into funding their lifestyle and excesses by offering expensive courses and conferences on the whole twin flame universe. They convince people to sever their relationships with their families, go after their so-called twin flames, to the point of stalking them. One woman even got thrown in jail for stalking some guy. When I watch documentaries like this, I just get so upset at how people get suckered into these situations. It's so horrible because love is such a beautiful thing to have, to experience, you know, to be in. The main reason people fall for mess like this is that people, apparently mostly women, have a longing to belong to something, to someone. I've said this before. These women wanted so badly to be loved, they even went as far as agreeing to change their identities, their gender, their sexual orientation, just to be with their twin flames. and just because some random person told them to. So this Jeff guy started this business, and every season there was a new iteration. Every season there was a need to grow, to expand, to assert himself as a guru. You know, he even likened himself to Jesus Christ. You watch it. When you watch it, you're just going to be disgusted. You're going to say to yourself, what is this? He even had them do research on, what is it, Nexium, that other, the other guy who was in a cult, who was branding all the girls, like the girl in Smallville, who's now spending time in jail. If you listen to my podcast, I talked about that. He had the girls in the Twin Flames universe research about people like that and cults and oh my god. Anyway, honestly, watching that documentary revealed how sad people's lives can be, like the scammers and the scammed. Twin flames or soulmates, there is no such thing, in my opinion, in the way these cults would like you to believe. Rather, your soulmate is who you reasonably and consciously decide to make a covenant with, who you reasonably and consciously decide to get married to. So, outside forces cannot be involved or drive that union. You should not become someone else to be with someone. Okay? Now, when I say that, I don't mean giving up bad habits or bad things that are detrimental to help you better yourself and become a better, healthier person. No, definitely. We're ever evolving. We're ever changing. Our whole life is about making ourselves better. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean changing who you are, the good, maybe kind, rational person you may be, just to fit into a mold defined for you by someone else. That's just ridiculous. And that is not twin flame, that is not love. Relationships should never be entered into because other people are doing it or out of loneliness. You want to be in a relationship when you are mentally, physically, and emotionally sound. This benefits you, it benefits the person you're in a relationship with. You're not doing anybody any favors going into a relationship as a broken person. You're not doing yourself any favors going into a relationship because you are sitting down with somebody and somebody pointed out some person to you and said, that guy is cute, you guys would make a good couple. You're not in a position, oh, that girl is cute, you guys will make a good couple. You're not even in a position to be in a relationship. But because all your friends are paired up, everybody you know is paired up, you now start trying to approach this person who is maybe not good for you or who you're not good for. The saddest part of this whole thing is that even with this documentary exposing this group, can you believe that this organization is still functioning and they're still growing? People are going to watch this documentary and are still going to stay in this. If you happen to be in one of these type of organizations and it doesn't feel right, you need to leave. I want you to know that love is never forced. It is given freely and very easily recognized when it is true. Whew. Yes, this is a serious topic that I thought I had to share. I thought about it. I thought about the Keke Palmers of the world. Again, like I said, I mentioned her age. She's in her 30s, going into this relationship with somebody, or she just turned 30. So she was 28 when she started this relationship with this person. Now, I don't know what relationship Keke Palmer has with her father. I don't even know if, like, I didn't do enough research to see if she had a father figure in her life. And a lot of times your relationship with your parents somewhat dictates, I can't speak, dictates your own approach to relationships. A lot of times that happens, but that should only happen for a certain period. When you become an adult, when you have seen things, you don't, to me, when they say experience is the best teacher, I count experience as not just things you experience yourself, like you have to be in it, you have to be in the abuse. No. You don't have to. You can witness it, you can see it, you can watch it on TV, you can hear what people say about it. That's experience to me. You don't have to wait for it to happen to you for you to say, I have knowledge about this and I want to avoid this happening to me. So when you get to, when you're an adult and you're mature, your brain is fully formed, I beg you, man or woman, you need to recognize when someone is bad for you. You need to recognize when you're in a bad situation. So then you don't, I guess, pass on the same thing to your progeny, to your children, you don't repeat the same behavior. Anyway, so from Puff Daddy, now I have to look for a new nickname for my BGD. From Puff Daddy and his horrible ways. I mean, once the story came out, and it's so crazy because whenever these stories come out, then you start hearing all the other things this person does, and then it's like, oh, I remember seeing a story like this 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and you kind of bring it all together. Like, when I first saw it, I said, oh, he's gonna get the Harvey Weinstein treatment. It's gonna come fast. It's gonna come hard. He's settled out of court. Anyway, so from Puffy and Cassie and Keke Palmer and this Darius guy, and to all the people who are in this Twin Flame University, Twin Flame Universe, or whatever, Church of Twin Flame, or whatever they call themselves, I implore you to stop hurting people. And if you're the one being hurt, I beg you to recognize what's being done. Recognize how not right it is. And find your square root. Exit stage left. Okay. So anyway, thank you for joining me, my Smooners. Until my next video, don't forget to live, laugh, love. Love you, my Smooners.